Hey guys, how's it going? It's Carter here with another Guardian Tales video, and in today's video I want to talk about the new raid teams for the upcoming raid here in Guardian Tales. And currently the bosses that we're going to be facing here are going to be for the next one too, because we just had the current raid end. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the new raid and which bosses you can expect to face, and then also recommendations for which teams to take against this new raid. Because this is by far one of my favorite parts of content. I really like to push this stuff out there, especially as an in-game player, because I feel like this, as a person that when I started playing and getting into this is really hard stuff to find. So that's why I really wanted to try to get this content out there for you guys. So let me know down in the comments if you like this kind of stuff, and I'll keep doing it. If not, I'll focus on other parts of the game. So the big thing is going to be, we have 4 different bosses, and it's unfortunately we got the Harvester in Fire. Harvester's not a fun boss, and so last time we had it as a light boss. So then the basic team was really good. Last time he came through, Future Night just got released. To give you an idea, if you remember that time in the game. So we have Harvester to deal with. That's going to be the tough boss. Then we have the Demon in basic. Ghast is going to be light this time. Normally he's like water or I believe earth last time, I forget. And then the Minotaur, he's going to be earth. Minotaur is usually not too bad. So the best team so far, I'm thinking, and also a lot of people, because this is something that gets released in Korea first and they have a lot of testing. I wish this would be something that I get to test a day of, but a lot of people, I don't have a Korean account, so it's not like I'm going to get it first thing. So the teams that I'm recommending, so for Demon, he's basic, so Dark Team is going to be the best, and the best Dark Team currently is going to be Lilith, Beth, Lupina, and Arabil. And then for Harvester, he's Fire, and this is going to probably be one of the most important teams, and probably one of the most popular teams, because he's going to be your bottleneck. People are not going to want to hit this guy, because he's tough to deal with. But the best team is going to be a water team, so Garam's just a really good character pull, so I think a lot of people have him, and I feel like Garam is one of the best early raid teams to have, because he's so accessible, because the best partners are a lot of 2-star heroes until later down the line when you get Veronica. So the best team is going to be Garam, Gabriel, Veronica, and MK99, but then you can also do Garam, Gabriel, Veronica, and Nori, and then other options are still going to be the standard water comp, which is going to be Garam, Elvira, Coco, and like a Nori or something like that, or Veronica. If you have Veronica, you definitely want to use her, but Nori is pretty tough to want to replace, unless you have like a lot of these really good heroes in like Gabriel and MK99 and stuff like that. And so then for the light team in Ghast, it's going to be a basic team, so it's going to be Future Night, Nori, Isle Eva, and Tinia, or you can do like a Bari, Mayriel, Tinia, and Nari comp. That's a good one. Minnow team is Earth, and surprisingly enough, because Fire is really hurting. Fire is really not doing too well in raids, so just having a matching elemental or just a good standard team is going to be the best for the Earth team, instead of actually forcing a Fire affinity there. So it's going to be Mayriel. So like Earth team is going to be a really good choice here in Mayriel, Bari, Rue, and Tinia. That's a team I really like. Ever since Mayriel came out, I've gone all in on Earth. I just happen to pull a lot of like duplicate weapons for Earth characters, so I just have a lot invested in the Earth faction. So excited to use that again here against the Minotaur. So it's going to be Mayriel, Bari, Rue, and Tinia, or you can do, this is kind of like the best Fire team you can really put up with at the moment. So it's Akiyuki, Pilvice, Lyn, and then Lilith. And Lilith is on there because of the extra melee attack damage, and she's reducing defense, and it's not type specific. So I feel like Lilith is going to be a pretty staple raid character for raids to come, because good in Dark team and also good in melee specific teams, and usually at the moment that's a Fire team. I think a lot of people, I think the things to focus on when it comes to this, when it comes to building teams, I think probably the most popular teams, if you're really starting to raid, is going to be a Dark team, a water team, or a light team, depending on where you're at. Because I feel like the two best starter raid comps in general, by far the water team, because it's Garam as the lead, and then most of the damage comes from him, but then you can put natural 2-stars for quite a while. That was one of my best, if not my best raid team for a long time, was my Garam team with 2 natural 2-stars in Coco and Elvira, and then also Elvira got a ton of use against the fairy in the previous raid. So Elvira is just a really good hero that can be used as a main DPS and a side DPS as well. So, and then can eventually get replaced by higher end 3-star characters. If there's one trap that people do when it comes to the water team is they'll put Bianca on there, and for some reason she just doesn't work out well when it comes to a DPS perspective. I've never really seen her as a good addition to the team. Like I've seen Elvira and Coco outperform her, and then Elvira is in a water, like Rachel's weapon is ideal. So keep that in mind when you're using Elvira, because it's kind of weird that I'm picking a fire character, but the reason why is because she's a ranged, she has a ranged buff, and she has a chain skill that fits them. Because you would think, like, why don't you just use Rachel? But Elvira's chain skill is better, and she has the same ranged attack buff. So you just give her her weapon. But if you ever need a different chain skill, you can always go Rachel if you want to. And if you don't have like Nari and you're really struggling and you really need to use all the 2-stars you can, then throw her on there. So that would be my recommendation if you're really starting to get into the raiding. A water team is going to be the way to go. Useful in so many different raids. So, and especially if they keep rotating these elements like this, where a fire is going to be pretty prevalent, you definitely want to have that team for you, because it's so easy to contribute. Because for me, just the reason why I like raiding in this game, even though it's not necessarily the biggest benefit, it's kind of like adding another version of Coliseum and Arena, but instead of every 1 week, it's every 2 weeks. But the community makes the game so much more fun to be able to interact with people here on Discord, and people that are also passionate about the game that actually want to get better, and then it helps you get better, stuff like that. So that's why I really like doing this kind of stuff. And it just makes this game a significantly more enjoyable experience when you have a whole nother game mode to take advantage of if you want to. And kind of how they do the guild stuff, like for example in Exos, it felt like it never ended, where you were just constantly grinding over and over and over again when it came to the raiding. Whereas in this game, what happens is it's you have 2 weeks, and then after those 2 weeks are like 11 days or whatever, and then you get a break where you have no clan requirements or any kind of commitments you got to do for the clan, so you can just not log in if you wanted to, and then and your clan's not going to be pissed at you, and then you only need to commit at most like 5 to 10 minutes a day to make sure you get your attempts in. So it's like a really low commitment, but still, if you want to spend the time to actually like really learn it, then you can go and spend hours. But if you really need to, you just want to grind it out really quick, it only takes 5 minutes. If you've already done the practice at a different time, you can do all your attempts in 5-10 minutes and then be done for the day. So I think that's cool. I think the raiding in this game is really cool. The new raid looks exciting. I'm not too excited about Harvester. The reason why I don't like Harvester, to kind of touch on him, is because he's so first, it's hard to get big numbers, and people want to obviously put as big numbers as possible. The reason why they can't do that is because he moves around so much, and he's a little tough to consistently get him to do the same things. Like a lot of the bosses, you can always predict him to do the same thing, whereas the Harvester is a little tough to always make sure he's going to do that consistent, predictable damage rotation, unless you got him like below 50%. Because I believe after you got him below 50%, he's always going to do that kind of like light spiral thing, and then when he does that, he's actually not that big of a deal to face. But 50% and higher, he's a big pain in the ass. So, but get in the video here. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or anything about that when it comes to this new raid. And with that, guys, I'm out. Peace.